I need to rest. No, that's not right. No. Joel, what the frick are you doing?
I'm relaxing.
I can see that, but like, you're in my driveway. Like, there's a couch, like, 2 steps that way.
There is.
You're actually right, this is real good.
Yeah.
Beanbag. Alright, what's up guys? BJ Broductions here. We are back again. New year, lots of content coming up. Cannot wait to share it all with you guys. It is going to be fan-frickin-tastic. Hey, nice. We finished each other's sentence.
Sandwich.
Alright, so, new vid today. First one of the year. Joel's going to tell us all about it.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Skinny Thyroid. Today we're talking about... Today we are... It's story time.
It's story time.
You've heard us say in a previous episode that Ben here is an author extraordinaire.
Yeah.
And that I am Joel. And
He's
so...
Joel.
Hello. So, today we're going to share with you... Ben, actually, is going to share with you one of his magnificent stories, and we're going to act it out so that you have a visual accompaniment, and it's going to be...
Horrible.
Amazing.
It's not going to be amazing at all.
It's going to be amazing. Alright, let's cut to Ben reading his story.
Let's do it. Alright. Alright. So this is called A Night in the Forest. I actually wrote this, so be gentle. It's getting close to nightfall. The mismatched array of branches scatter what little light remains, casting shadows and creating silhouettes on the forest floor. The uneven flickering firelight causes shadows to appear and then disappear, almost as quickly as they came, causing our eyes to jump from place to place, as though something just outside our peripheral vision had moved. We pray that nothing will emerge from the tree line tonight. It's been a long day, so leaning back against the rough bark of the tree trunk is surprisingly comfortable, allowing us to take the weight off of our feet. Removing our boots, we run a thumb up and down the soles of our feet, trying to ease the tension built up from a day of constant walking. We were lucky to get the tent set up relatively quickly while it was still light, without the child making too much of a fuss. This whole situation is hardest on Mary, my wife. Having to take care of a newly born child in these primitive living conditions, not knowing where she'll be holed up the next night, or when we'll be able to have a hot meal again.
Freaking fight you. No, come on, Misha. Oh, frick you.
Ever since the night I was kicked out of town for causing a ruckus in the inn, we've been on the move. Tomorrow night will make it a month. At least I think it will. I don't think I'll be able to show my face in that town again. I doubt we'll be able to set up residence in any town for at least another 2 months. I'm beyond grateful that through all of this I've had Mary. She's been the one thing that's kept me sane and given me a reason to keep my head on my shoulders. Her and the child, of course. With the broth nearing completion, our mouths begin to water at the thought of finally having a hot meal. Supper is a quick, quiet affair, save for the first mouthful as the warmth radiates through our bodies and the general excited babbling of the child. As we finish the meal and Mary goes to set the child down, I resume my seat in front of the fire, adding more and more wood until there's a roaring column of heat and light. It's not enough to keep the child up, but it's enough for Mary and I to sit comfortably and talk for at least another hour or so without having to add anything more. It takes roughly half an hour for Mary to resurface, giving me a silent nod to let me know that the child's asleep. But as always, as we lounge in front of the fire, we keep an ear out just in case the child stirs. The conversation ebbs and flows in the natural, easy progression it always has, as we talk about everything and nothing all at once, allowing time for both of us to simply enjoy being here together without needing to say anything. enjoying the tranquility that comes from knowing that this moment, albeit a brief one, is one in which there is nothing else we could be doing. There is no pressure to be doing something else. The longer we sit, the more my mind seems to want to wander back to the incident at the end. Then it's like a flashback, so like... It was just afternoon when I walked into the house after a long day of work. It was a lot earlier than I would usually return home, but it wasn't an altogether uncommon occurrence. My shirt was still damp with the perspiration that had accumulated during the day and was covered in a thin sheen of filth. Mary was in the kitchen and the child asleep in the cot. Walking up behind her, I brushed her auburn hair to the side with one hand, placed the other on her hip, and leant forward to place a small kiss on her cheek. The corners of her mouth quirked upwards as a smile made its way onto her face. It was perhaps my favourite sight. If I could get her to smile and possibly even laugh, then I could count the day as being a successful one. I know you're cooking dinner, my love, but why don't we go to the inn tonight for dinner? I've got news worth celebrating, I whispered as I pulled her in close. How about, she replied in the same breathless whisper, we have dinner here and then go to the inn for drinks afterwards. Looking up at me with those gorgeous blue eyes, a sly smile painted on her face, how could I possibly refuse? Dinner was delicious. A nice healthy steak pulled fresh from the meat safe in the back, and a large helping of potatoes, which were picked fresh from our garden, all topped with a sprinkle of rosemary. It covered the small cracked plates. It wasn't much, but it was a much larger serving than we usually allowed ourselves to have in a single meal. Afterwards, with the soft glow of the sun setting behind us, we walked down the main street, hand in hand, kicking dirt up as we went. Mary and I reminisced over times gone by, particularly times before we were married, and how much life had changed since the birth of our child. We wouldn't have changed it for the world, but it did give us a lot less time to be together. As we entered the inn, the music, which we could hear as we got closer, suddenly stopped altogether. It was silent, aside from the creak of the door as it swung closed behind us. How dare you walk in here as if you haven't just ripped the entire town off with your faulty bows, the innkeeper bellowed at me as he threw 2 bows on the floor which had both snapped in half. As the bows finally stopped clattering, a few of the other patrons similarly stood and threw their bows on the floor, all snapped in the exact same place. I drew breath in an attempt to ascertain how this had happened, but before I could get a word out, from the corner of my eye, I saw a bottle rocketing through the air towards us. Grabbing Mary's head, I tucked it into my chest in an attempt to shelter her from what I could, all the while pushing her towards the door. As she got it open and shuffled out, I tried to follow, but was dragged back by 2 burly gentlemen and thrown into the throng of the crowd. Standing helpless in the doorway, Mary watched on in horror as blow after blow was rained down upon my face and torso. Finally, happy with their treatment of me, the same 2 gentlemen threw me into the street, saying I was a dead man if I ever showed my face here again. After that, we'd fled, and of course the rumours had followed. A crack from a fire, followed by a plume of embers racing their way upwards, brings me out of my musings. I can tell that Mary is getting tired. Her breathing has deepened and become steadier, so with a gentle hand on her shoulder and a loving kiss on the forehead, I rouse her before sleep takes her completely. We both know that tomorrow will be another long day. A hard day. A day full of travel on bumpy, uneven roads as we head west for a town that hopefully hasn't heard of us before, where we can set up camp for the next little while. With this in mind, I help her to her feet and follow her into the tent, leaving the fire to burn itself out. Yep, so I'm done. That's the story.
And so it was. Yeah.
So, what'd you think? Honestly, give us your opinions, comments down below. We actually want to know, because I want to know if I should continue writing or give up.
Okay, I'm not laughing about what Ben just said. I just want to say, we're going to show you a little snippet of a story that I wrote.
Yeah.
And we want you to tell us in the comments, comment down below.
Right there.
If you want to hear that story and maybe see a little part of that acted out as well as a special bonus episode for you fans, let us know once you've heard this clip, and then we'll go to our outtakes and bloopers. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We adore you.
We love you.
I love you.
I love you more.
I love you most.
I love you even more than Joel.
A third woman ahead screamed at the loss of her comrades, or friends, or whatever they were to her, and charged hastily forward, making for an easy kill. Batting her arm to the side, Joffro shoved machete at an upward angle deep into her solar plexus until the tip of her blade stopped at her spine. So aggressively violent.
It really is, especially compared to mine.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I just... Okay, sorry. Hot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like a gremlin.
Yeah.
Third clean.
Yeah. You get it on the dress? Look at me.